When I asked my girlfriend to marry me at her birthday celebration, she laughed. You're like a brother to me. I merely nodded after 5 years of planning our future. Thanks for making things clear and doing this. Hey, Reddit. Think about putting money into someone you thought you were going to spend the rest of your life with, only for her to call you brother in front of 35 people. Yes, that happened to me too. I'm a 29-year-old man who works as a software developer and makes $15,000 a year. We met Selena 5 years ago in college through friends of ours. She was a beautiful marketing major with hair that looked great and a smile that made you forget your name. I was hooked right away, but Jess could see right through what she was doing. She informed me that girl was more false than an imitation luxury bag after seeing Selena for the first time. She only chats to you when she needs something, and she flirts with other males right in front of you while you're paying for everything. You're only looking out for them. I told you that you don't know her as I do. Jess rolled her eyes. Danny, I'm a lady. I know exactly what she is. She is accumulating backup men like they are trading cards. This is what I should have seen. Selena never called me her boyfriend. It was always, this is Daniel or Daniel and I are really close. When people asked directly if we were dating, she'd get this strange smile and say, we have something special that doesn't need labels. Yeah, something unique. Okay. I was her unpaid personal assistant, but I didn't get any benefits. What really got me was how she'd talk about our future, but only when she needed something. I want a huge kitchen in our first house so I can cook for you. She couldn't make water boil. I hope our kids get your eyes and my nose when we have them. Let's have a small, private wedding when we get married. She had me planning our retirement while keeping me in a bad relationship. I was a total moron here. I believed I was being smart by becoming the best supplier. Selena's automobile stops working. I have a rented car and $800 in cash for repairs. Are you behind on your rent? I send her $1,200 through Venmo before she asks. Need help with your move? I bring a U-Haul, 3 pals, and lunch for everyone. Yes, I was that whipped. But that's all in the past. I did the math on a slow day at work. $23,400 over the course of 5 years. That didn't cover the cost of being on call 24/7, emotional support, or work. $23,000. That is a down payment on a Tesla Model 3. The problem with closeness should have been the biggest warning sign. We had been together for 5 years and had only made it to second base. She always had a reason. I want our first time to be great. Things get more complicated when they are physical. Let's go slowly. At the same time, she would wear tight outfits when we went out and flirt with males to get free meals in front of me. It seems that taking it slow meant never going anywhere except to the bank, while she was dating random males on dating apps. I found out later that she had been having sex with guys within hours of matching with them. But as the guy paying for her life, I got to hold her hand and kiss her forehead like we were in middle school. My line in the sand was Selena's 28th birthday. After 5 years of maybe dating, I was going to make it happen. I was done if we weren't making this official. I spent 3 months getting ready for the best party ever. Leased a special room at her favorite restaurant, hired a professional photographer, and made sure that all of her family and friends were there. I paid $6,800 for the ring, a diamond of 1.5 carats set in white gold. She had shown me rings on Pinterest for 3 years, usually pointing out the pricey ones, so I knew what she liked. Just thought I was wrong. If she wanted to marry you, Danny, you would already be engaged. Don't put yourself out there like way. But I was sure this was our time. All those talks about getting married and all those clues that you wanted to be with me forever. This was the last thing to do. The party was great. Present were around 35 people present, including Selena's parents, who had always treated me like a future son-in-law. Her mom even asked me in private when I was going to make it official and said she was keeping her grandmother's wedding dress. After dinner, I got up to give the toast. I was sure of myself. I want to talk about Selena, I said. The crowd got quiet, and I could see individuals starting to smile as if they knew what was going to happen. It's been amazing to be with you for the last 5 years. You're my partner, my closest friend, and the lady I want to spend the rest of my life with. You have made me a better man, and I can't picture my life without you. Selena was smiling and looked great in the blue dress I got her. Then I knelt down. Everyone in the room gasped. I took the ring out of the box. Will you marry me, Selena Marie? The quiet lasted only 3 seconds, yet it felt like an hour. Selena then started to chuckle. Not anxious giggles, but full-blown, hysterical laughing, like I had just told her the best story she had ever heard. Daniel, oh my God, she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. That's so nice. But you know we're just best friends, right? This is so embarrassing. She was still giggling while everyone else in the room looked horrified. The quiet was so loud. Her dad looked upset and bewildered. Her mom seemed quite embarrassed. My friends looked like they were going to kill someone. I'm still on one knee clutching this ring while she tells everyone that I'm basically her platonic life partner with a credit card. I mean, we've never even, she went on, making it worse. Daniel has always been extremely kind and helpful, like a close friend. I carefully stood up and put the ring back in my pocket. I said, trying to make them laugh. It's nice to know where we are after 5 years. A few folks laughed nervously. Selena looked really perplexed at how everyone reacted, as if she didn't get why proposing to her brother may be strange. Don't be sad, she whispered as she patted my arm. You'll find someone who wants that kind of relationship. We can even go on a double date. She wanted to go on a double date with me after she said no to my proposal in front of my whole family. I stayed for another hour because leaving right away would have made things worse. But something had changed inside. The pain was already changing into something different. When I left, Selena gave me a hug. Thank you for throwing such a great celebration. You always look out for me. You really are the finest friend ever. Well, customer service is closed for good now. I drove home without saying a word, but my mind was racing. 5 years of my life cost $23,000. All those talks about babies and marriage, and I'm her brother. I didn't sleep that night. I made plans. Selena texted me the next morning and said, "Last night was perfect. Sorry if the proposal thing was strange, but I'm pleased we talked about it. You are the best buddy a girl could ever want. Can you assist me move my dresser this weekend?" For a long period, I just stared at the text. The casual dismissal, the idea that I'd just go back to normal after being embarrassed in front of 35 people. The urgent request for more free work. She pretended like nothing had occurred. That's when it made sense. Selena was the definition of a narcissist. Not in the way that the internet says, but in the real medical sense. She really couldn't see that other people had sentiments that were more important than her own comfort. I told Jess what occurred when I called her. Danny, in front of everyone, Jesus. That's really cruel. And the next day, she requested you to shift some furniture. Yes. You attempted to tell me. What are you going to do? I'm thinking about it. For a minute, Jess was quiet. You know what? Good. You should be angry instead of just sad. That female has been taking advantage of you for years. That afternoon, I did something I'd never done before. I compiled a full list of everything. Not only money, but everything. I looked at my bank records, Venmo history, and receipts that I had saved in my inbox. Over 5 years, the sum came to $23,400. But that didn't include the work. I made a spreadsheet. Hours spent helping her move. 89. Times I took her to the airport. 31. Emergency runs to her flat for different problems. 67 hours of listening to work drama. At least 300. That was another $45,000 worth of free consulting at my hourly rate. I then compiled a list of all the guys she has casually dated while still having me around as a backup. Derek, the personal trainer, for 8 months. Michael has been the bartender for 6 months. Alex from her yoga class for 4 months. A finance person whose name I never learnt for 3 months. That person who wants to be an influencer yet has face tattoos. For 2 months. She'd date these guys and hook up with them, then lament to me when things didn't work out. I was the emotional janitor who cleaned up after her failed relationships, paid for her lifestyle, and got nothing in return except the chance to hear about her romantic exploits with other guys. But this is what truly got me crazy. I remembered specific times when she made fun of guys who were excessively needy or expected too much. While I was paying her rent, She would literally moan to me about men who wanted to settle down. Selena had been lying to me for 5 years, and she was so sure of herself that she humiliated me in public, thinking I would just accept it and keep paying for her lifestyle. It's time to show this girl what happens when the mark figures out the game. I did research over the next week. I knew this girl better than everyone else. Her fears, her needs, her social media habits, her job status, and her family life. I had to do it perfectly if I was going to ruin her life. Selena was basically lazy and had never learned how to be an adult because there was always someone, typically me, to take care of things for her. She also felt very insecure, even though she acted confident. This is why she required continual attention and reassurance. Most significantly, she was bad with money and lived beyond her means since she always had me to fall back on. I was about to put an end to all of this. I began with mental warfare. Selena was used to getting quick replies to her texts, so I set up a method to delay things. Delays of 6 hours on the first day. Day 2, 12 hours. I was taking 36 hours or more to answer at the end of the first week. It was immediate and satisfying when she got confused. "Why aren't you answering my texts?" She called on the third day to ask. "I've been busy." "What are you busy with? You always reply to my texts right away." Things change. Day 5. During a heat wave, her air conditioner broke. Normally, I'd be over there with tools and a spare window unit in less than an hour. "Danny, it's really hot in here, about 95 degrees, and my landlord isn't answering. Could you come and look at it? I'm really dying. You should get in touch with a repair service." "But you already know about this. They'll charge you $300 just to show up. That's how businesses work, yes." Crazy idea. "Don't be rude. I urgently need some help. I'm being honest." She ended up spending $420 for service on the same day. She texted me the receipt with sobbing emojis, perhaps hoping to make me feel bad and offer to divide it. I said, "Being an adult costs a lot of money." Day 8, car trouble. Her battery died in a Target parking lot. She had to contact AAA and wait 3 hours because she let her membership run out instead of calling me for a jump. "I can't believe you didn't answer when I really needed you," she texted. "I was in meetings all day. Since when do you not step out of meetings for emergencies? Since when is a dead battery an emergency? You have in AAA. I let it expire because you always help with car stuff." I didn't respond to that one. Day 12. The kitchen sink started leaking, flooding her bathroom floor. Emergency plumber on Sunday. $650. "This is ridiculous." She texted with photos of the damage. "I can't afford all these repairs. Maybe start an emergency fund." With what money? You know how expensive everything is. Other people manage. By week 2, her texts were getting frantic. "What's going on with you? You're being so weird and cold. Did I do something wrong? Just treating you like the friend you said I was. But we've always been close friends. This feels different." How? She couldn't answer because she'd never had to think about what she was actually getting from me. In her mind, my services weren't part of our friendship. They were just part of my personality. The breaking point came when she had her monthly meltdown about work drama. Usually, I drop everything for a 4-hour phone therapy session, followed by bringing her ice cream and comfort food. This time, when she called crying about her boss being unfair, about her project deadline, I let it go to voicemail. She called back immediately. I declined. On the third call, I answered, "What's up? Why didn't you respond? I really need to discuss. I am watching a film. Can't you stop it? This is very crucial." "What's the problem?" "My supervisor is being a total jerk, and I'm having a panic attack." "After then, you should call your doctor about the panic attack." "I don't need a doctor, Daniel. I need you. Get in touch with Ashley. She does better with work things anyway. You understand me more than Ashley does. You might want to add to your support network." I hung up the phone. She phoned back 6 times. I didn't pay attention to any of them. The next day, at 7 a.m., she came to my apartment, with Starbucks and crying. She pushed past me into my living room and said, "We need to talk. I couldn't get to sleep. You're acting so weird that it's making me nervous." She acted like she owned the house as she sat on my couch. I know the proposal thing was weird, but we can't allow that get in the way of our friendship. What kind of friendship? We've been great buddies for 5 years. Tell me one thing you've done for me in the last 5 years. What? That's not right. Selena, one thing. You made one sacrifice for me. She looked at me like I had asked her to do calculus. I heard you. When have I ever phoned you with a problem? You don't have any troubles. Your life is great. My life seemed wonderful because I couldn't have any troubles while I was helping you with yours. She began to cry. You're being rude. This isn't like you. This is just like me. You just didn't pay attention before. I started to be creative in the 3rd week. Over the years, Selena had left things at my house. A laptop charger, some jewelry, clothes, literature, and makeup. So, when she texted me to ask for her things back, I acted like any other casual friend would. Yes, I'll be home on Saturday between 1 and 3. Can't you simply leave it? You know where I reside. I'm not going out of my way. It goes to Goodwill on Saturday between 1 and 3. She came to 105 looking like she hadn't slept in days. I gave her a trash bag with her things in it. A bag of trash? Really? Some of these things costs a lot. You're being very small-minded. It's all there. She started going through stuff right there at my door. Where are my grandmother's jewelry, my blue cashmere jacket, and my nice makeup bag? I don't have it if it's not in there. But I know I put them here. The earrings are worth $800 on their own. I shrugged. I must have lost them. What is the truth? I got $650 for the earrings on eBay, gave the sweater to Goodwill, and threw the makeup bag in the trash behind a convenience shop. Small? Of course. Is it satisfying? Of course. But the true harm to mental health comes from fighting on social media. After not posting for weeks, I started again. There are no pictures of Selena, just pictures of me doing things. Hiking with friends, going to restaurants, having coffee with coworkers, and seeming busy and joyful. Every post was a message. Without you in it, my life is better. It was easy to guess how Selena would respond. Posting sad things on Instagram stories. Missing someone who doesn't miss you back. People sometimes show who they really are. Trust is really weak. Trying to make me feel bad. So I wrote a story of my own. It's just a picture of the ring box, which is still closed, sitting next to my car keys on the kitchen counter. Some choices are easy to make. My DMs were full within an hour. People were inquiring what occurred, offering help, and questioning Selena's actions. The story was changing, and she could see it occurring right in front of her. Her answers to the story were more and more frantic. Daniel, it's not always about you. Some people need to mature and talk to each other. In the end, the truth always comes out. But this is the best part. People she knew were starting to raise inquiries. Mike told me that Selena's coworker asked him whether she had led me on after viewing my ring post. On Facebook, her cousin asked her why she had friend-zoned such a nice guy. I got a message from her college roommate. What happened, man? Selena has been posting strange things all week. After that, she committed her biggest mistake. She tried to take charge of the story by posting a long diatribe on Facebook about fake friends who leave you when you need them most, people who can't handle talking about their feelings honestly, and some men who think they're entitled something just for being polite. Not a good idea. So, I wrote my own post on Facebook. Planned and terrible. Someone who got $23,400 in financial help over 5 years while dating other individuals and then scoffed at a proposal in front of both families has an interesting point of view. But yes, I'm the false buddy because I expect basic respect. Thanks to everyone who helped me through this change. When you stop paying for other people's fantasies, life is genuinely great. I added a picture of a spreadsheet that showed the biggest costs, with the figures masked but still clear enough to tell that they were big. The comment section went crazy. Selena's friends started talking about the sidey things they had seen throughout the years. Wait, you proposed after all those times? Her college roommate responded. She said you guys were just friends. Her work buddy Jessica wrote, this explains so much about her dating patterns. Even some of her family members liked the post. Selena deleted her original post within an hour, but screenshots were already circulating. Then came the phone calls. She called me crying, screaming, bargaining, threatening the highlights. You can't post our private business on Facebook. You made it public when you humiliated me in front of everyone. I never asked you to spend that money. You never offered to pay it back either. You're ruining my reputation. I'm just telling the truth. Take it down or you'll what? Sue me for posting facts. She hung up and immediately started damage control, posting her own response about bitter ex-friend and financial manipulation and how I was weaponizing money, but it was too late. Selena was losing control of the story, and she knew it. By week 4, Selena was in full panic mode. The girl who'd never had to handle adult problems alone was drowning, and I was just getting started. Her car registration expired, and she had no idea how to renew it online. Spent an entire day at the DMV because she'd never done it herself. Her laptop crashed, and she didn't know how to back up files. Lost a week of work. Had to pay Best Buy $300 to recover everything. Her apartment lease was up for renewal, and she'd never negotiated rent before. Ended up paying $200 more per month because she was too intimidated to counter offer. But I wasn't done. Selena had always been financially reckless because she knew I was there as a safety net. So when her credit card got declined at dinner with friends and she had to text her mom for money like a college freshman, I knew my plan was working perfectly. Then came the master stroke. I knew Selena's patterns better than she knew them herself. Every few months, she'd have some crisis that required immediate financial help, usually car repairs or medical bills. And it always happened right before rent was due, almost like she planned it that way. So I waited like a spider. Sure enough, 3 days before month end, Selena texted, "Danny, I know things have been weird between us, but my car needs new brakes and I'm short on rent this month. Can you help? I'll pay you back as soon as I get my bonus next month, please." The same script she'd been using for 5 years. But this time was different. "Sorry, can't help with that. It's just $1,200. You've helped me before. That was different. We can still help each other as friends. Show me where you helped me financially in the past 5 years." Silence, because she never had, not once. "That's not fair." She finally replied, I don't make as much as you do. Then maybe live within your means." She ended up borrowing money from her parents. The humiliation was perfect, but it got better. Her dad called me. Selena's own father called to apologize. "Daniel, I had no idea Selena was taking money from you all these years. Her mother and I are horrified. It's not your fault, Mr. Peterson. It absolutely is. We raised her better than this. I want you to know we're cutting her off financially. If she's old enough to use men for money, she's old enough to support herself. I appreciate that, but you don't need to." "Yes, we do. What she did to you at that birthday party was unforgivable. You deserved better, son." Within 24 hours, Selena's parents had cut off her financial safety net. 2. Her mom stopped paying her car insurance. Her dad stopped covering her phone bill. Her monthly grocery money disappeared overnight. Selena called Jess crying, begging her to fix this with her parents. Jess's response: "Have you tried taking responsibility for your actions instead of expecting everyone else to clean up your messes?" But I was just getting warmed up. I knew Selena had been telling people at work that she had a complicated relationship situation. To explain her recent emotional instability, her coworker Jessica followed me on Instagram. We'd met at a few parties, so I started being strategic about what I posted. Photos of me at the gym with the caption, "New goals, new mindset." Eating dinner at fancy places. Trips with buddies on the weekend. Each post was carefully crafted to show I was thriving without her. Selena's response: "It's complicated. Daniel doesn't understand adult relationships. He thinks money equals love." The irony was absolutely beautiful, but the piece to resistance came when she tried to get our mutual friends to intervene. "Daniel's being really cold to Selena," Lisa told Jess. "She asked me to talk to him about whatever happened between them." Jess's response was surgical. "Selena used my brother as a personal ATM for 5 years while hooking up with other guys, then publicly humiliated him when he proposed. Now she's mad that her meal ticket got revoked. Maybe she should ask one of those dating app hookups for rent money." The story was out there now. People were connecting dots, asking questions Selena couldn't answer without admitting she was a financial predator. The workplace karma was equally satisfying, though. Selena's emotional instability was starting to affect her job performance. She'd been calling in sick frequently, missing deadlines, and apparently crying in meetings. Her boss pulled her aside for a wellness conversation about her recent performance issues. Selena tried to explain that she was going through a difficult personal situation, but when pressed for details, she couldn't exactly say, "My unpaid personal assistant quit, and now I don't know how to function like an adult." The final straw at work came when Selena asked her coworker Brad to help her move apartments on a weekend. Brad, who barely knew her beyond small talk, was baffled. When he declined, Selena had a complete meltdown in the break room about how no one cares about anyone anymore. And people are so selfish these days. HR got involved. Selena was now on a performance improvement plan with mandatory counseling. Mike heard all this through Jessica, who witnessed the break room incident. Apparently, Selena tried to frame it as having a bad day, but multiple coworkers had noticed her increasingly erratic behavior and constant personal phone calls. She was struggling on every front: financial, emotional, professional, and social. And I was just getting started. 3 months after going nuclear, I was a completely different person. Work was thriving, started hitting the gym consistently, and actually had time for hobbies. Also, I started dating Allison. She worked at some tech startup, made $85,000 herself, solved her own problems, paid for her own meals. She was beautiful but didn't weaponize it. Smart and confident. We'd been dating for 8 weeks when it happened. Allison and I were having dinner at Morello's, the same place where Selena had humiliated me. It was our first time back there, and Allison knew the significance. We were talking about taking a weekend trip to her friend's cabin in Lake Tahoe. When I saw Selena walk in, she looked absolutely terrible. Hair unwashed and greasy, baggy clothes that didn't fit right, dark circles under her eyes like she'd been crying for days. She was with some guy I didn't recognize. He looked like he wanted to escape. I thought about warning Allison but decided against it. Selena was my past. Allison was my present. But Selena spotted me within minutes. She kept staring over at our table while trying to pretend she was paying attention to her date. The poor guy was clearly confused by her distraction. Allison noticed immediately. "Is that your ex?" she asked quietly. Something like that. Selena wasn't content to just stare. About 30 minutes later, while Allison was in the bathroom, Selena came over to our table like a heat-seeking missile. "Daniel," she said, trying to sound casual but failing completely. "Fancy seeing you here? Selena, how have you been? You look different." "Good. Different. I'm doing great." She glanced around nervously. "Who's your friend?" "Allison. My girlfriend." The word hit her like a physical slap. Her face went white, then red, then white again. "Girlfriend already? It's only been like 3 months. Actually, it's been 4 months since you rejected my proposal." "But who's counting?" Her face twisted with rage and disbelief. 2 months? But when did you? How could you move on so fast? Turns out it's easy to move on when someone shows you they never actually wanted you in the first place. Allison returned from the bathroom, and I could see Selena's expression shift as she took her in. Allison was everything Selena pretended to be. Naturally beautiful, professionally successful, genuinely confident. The comparison was brutal and obvious. Allison extended her hand politely, reading the situation perfectly. "Nice to meet you?" Selena looked at her like she was seeing a ghost. Then she turned on the phony sweetness and said, "So, you're the rebound?" She said with a venomous smile. She said, "Excuse me? Well, Daniel has loved me for 5 years. You might simply be trying to make me jealous." It's really sad. The restaurant became less noisy. People were beginning to look. Selena's date had came over and seemed really embarrassed. Allison smiled at me, then at Selena again. "Daniel really did tell me everything about you. You're the girl who used him as an ATM while you were dating other guys, right?" Then he chuckled as he asked her to marry him. Selena's face turned red. "That's not what we had. So special that you turned down his offer in front of everyone." "I didn't say no. It was a surprise. You don't get it. Daniel and I have a past. We are so close. Did I fix the past tense? Don't say that. Selena lost her cool and snapped. You can't just chuck away 5 years. I made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake to spend my money on other people for 5 years. It was a way to make money. People were obviously paying attention now. Selena's date looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. Selena's voice was getting louder and louder. Daniel, tell them we had something real. We didn't. Selena was crying now, and her mascara was flowing down her cheeks like black rivers. You can't be with her. She doesn't know you as I do. I need you. Everyone in the restaurant could hear Selena yell it. And there it was, like I was a customer of hers. Allison stood up without being upset. Hey Daniel, let's go somewhere else where the entertainment is better. I put money on the table and got up. Selena gripped my arm in a panic. Please don't go, she muttered. But it was loud enough for people at neighboring tables to hear. I can't do this without you. I'll do whatever it takes. You can count on me to pay you back. Don't worry. I'll make it right. Allison and I walked toward the door. Selena was crying harder behind us. Her date was trying to calm her down while other diners whispered and stared. The staff was moving toward their table. As we reached the door, I heard Selena shout, "She'll never love you like I do." I turned back one last time. You loved what I could do for you. There is a distinction. Everyone in the restaurant was looking at her now. Her date looked quite embarrassed and was definitely planning how to get away. The manager was coming over to their table. As we climbed into her car, Allison squeezed my hand. What a total mess. She's not typically that crazy. Oh, she's totally crazy, but in a sad way, not a threatening way. We drove back to Allison's house, made coffee, and had a nice, quiet night. I said, I'm sorry you had to see that. Are you serious? That was better than watching Netflix. That night, Selena sent me 31 texts. Sorries, explanations, threats, and frantic tries to save something from the ruins. I blocked her number without reading most of them, but I did take screenshots of the finest ones to send to Jess. The best parts. She's only with you for your money, something I would never do. You're making a big mistake, and you'll see it when she displays her actual self. I know I damaged you, but we are meant to be together. Okay, go ahead and be with that witch, but don't come sobbing to me when it doesn't work out. She's experiencing a full-on breakdown. So pretty. Selena's entire breakdown started with that restaurant tantrum. The best part was that she did much of the work herself. I didn't know that Selena had initiated a full-blown campaign to ruin my reputation and get me back at the same time. She was sending direct messages to my friends, co-workers, and even my cousins, telling them how I had left her when she needed me the most. The difficulty was that everyone knew the truth now. Jake, my co-worker, sent me her message. Daniel and I were together for 5 years, but he broke up with me because of a misunderstanding. This isn't like him, therefore I'm genuinely worried about him. Are you able to talk to him? Jake's answer was just right. If by together you mean you used him as a personal ATM, then yes, I heard about the misunderstanding when you laughed at his offer. Don't talk to his co-workers about your personal problems, though. She did the same thing with my neighbor, my gym partner, and even my dentist's office. Every time she tried to go in, it was harder. But the real problem started when she tried to encourage our friends to pick sides. She planned a night out with the girls to share her side of the tale. Lisa told Jess everything that was going on. Selena painted me as a manipulative, controlling ex-friend who tried to use money to get her to be in a relationship she didn't want. The girls were courteous, but they didn't believe what he said. Ashley finally said something. Last month, 3 months after you turned down Daniel's offer, you really requested him to pay your rent. How does that make him controlling? The girls' night ended early, and Selena's last true group of friends broke up the next day. But Selena kept going down. She must have taken out a payday loan to pay for things after I cut her off and her parents stopped supporting. The interest rates were too high and she was going under. She sought to acquire a second job at Target to help pay the bills. But she had never worked in retail before, so she couldn't handle the physical duties or the customer service standards. She quit after 2 weeks, saying that her boss was treating her unfairly since she was smart. Her main job wasn't going much better either. She had to follow a rigid schedule and check in with her regularly, but she couldn't get used to being responsible. After that, the notice to leave came. Selena's landlord had had enough after 3 months of her being late on rent. She had 30 days to pay or leave, but she didn't have the money. She did everything she could. She applied for emergency help but was turned down because her income on paper was too high. She tried to acquire a loan, but her credit score was bad since she had too many cards. She even thought about moving back in with her parents, but they made it obvious that she wasn't welcome. She started selling her things out of desperation, but it wasn't enough. She still didn't have enough money for rent, and time was running out. At that point, she made her last desperate move. She came to my workplace. My receptionist called back to let me know. "There is a woman come to see you, Daniel." I almost had security take her out, but I wanted to see how far she'd fallen. She looked worse than she did in the restaurant. Thinner and lighter. It was evident that she had been crying. "Selena, what do you want?" "I need help. Big trouble." "That's not my problem. Please just pay attention. I'm going to be kicked out. I don't have a place to go." "Sounds hard. I know I wounded you, but I'm in a bad place. Can you help me one more time?" She thought she could still come to me for money after everything she had done to me. "Nope. I'll pay you back with interest. I will get another employment. I'll do anything." The answer is still no. I was young and dumb and I don't care. She started to cry again. "I won't have a home. You'll work things out. You know how to use your resources when you need to." She looked at me like she didn't know me. "I might have been." She said, "You've changed. I know how much I'm worth. Anything you never took the time to figure out." She didn't want to leave on her own, so security took her out. She was still crying and begging. That was 8 months ago. Last I heard from the grapevine, she had gone back to her hometown to live with her aunt. She works in a call center and lives in a little apartment. She doesn't have much of a presence on social media anymore. On my birthday, she sent me a long email on how much she had learned about herself. The email finished with, "I know you're happy with Allison, but I hope someday we can be friends again. You were the best person in my life and I was too stupid to see it." I showed it to Allison, who just shook her head. She still doesn't get it. Allison said, "Nope, some people never learn." I deleted the email without responding. Got engaged to Allison 2 months ago. Used the same ring Selena rejected, but had it reset in a new style Allison preferred. Allison said yes before I even finished asking, then tackled me with excitement. "I was wondering when you were going to ask," she laughed. "I've been ready since our 3rd date." Turns out when someone actually wants to marry you, they don't need 5 years to think about it. We're planning a destination wedding in Costa Rica next spring. Small ceremony, close friends, and family only. 2 months until the wedding, and I've never been happier. Life's pretty amazing when you stop subsidizing other people's delusions and start investing in people who actually value you. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube, this video deserves to blow up.